self-love isn't just about affirmations in the mirror. It's about listening to yourself. And the best way I've found to do that is journaling. Hi, I'm literally Imelda, and on here I talk all things lifestyle, fashion, and technology. If you're into things like these, don't forget to click the subscribe button and join the family. Today, I'll be talking about journaling yourself to self-love. And to be fair, self-love is a journey. We all know this. Self-love isn't just about taking yourself on a spa date or giving yourself a treat. It's more or less a journey. And I know a lot of people try to equate self-love with affirmations in the mirror, but to be honest, self-love is more than just affirmations. Self-love is about listening to yourself and telling yourself how much you love yourself. Self-love is about taking care of the core need of yourself, and this can only happen when you actually listen to yourself, because if we do not listen to ourselves, we do not even know what areas need more love, because our body and ourself has so many parts to it, and because of this we need to listen to which part or area needs more love per time, because in the ever-changing world, every part of our body and ourself needs more love and attention. When you listen to yourself, it's good to write down what you're saying to yourself so that you can remember these things, and one of the ways to do that is journaling. Journaling for me goes way back, because I started journaling as far back as elementary school, and then when I started journaling, I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was writing down my everyday thoughts and how I felt in each day that passed by. But I quickly stopped journaling in my early high school days because my journal got leaked and was read by a naughty kid to the rest of the class, and I got laughed at, and this made me feel some type of way, and I stopped journaling for a long time. Not until 2022, when my husband, who was then my boyfriend, got me a journal for the new year. This is when I rekindled my love for journaling and started writing down my thoughts and feelings of each passing day within this journal. And since then, it has helped me get in touch with my core self and understand how I react to certain situations and conditions when they come my way, and this has helped me grow as a person. Reading through my past journal entries, it was very interesting to see how I felt about certain situations I was passing through and how I overcame those situations going forward. It also helped me realize who I was before and who I'm becoming. Thus, journal entry is the best thing that can happen to anyone. You know, like they say, the pen is mightier than the sword. So writing your thoughts and your feelings down on paper is actually mightier than you think, because it helps you put into perspective how you're feeling and helps you come out from that situation and read through what you've written down, and makes you understand how best to tackle that situation. If you haven't started journaling or you've never journaled before, I would advise you get into it quickly. To be fair, there are certain things you don't know how to share to others. Even if you have a best friend or a close companion, there are certain things you might not be able to put into words, or you just don't want to share to anyone, but you just want to write it down and read it to yourself, and journaling will help you do this as well. To delve into this, I'll be sharing 5 useful keys that will help you in your journaling journey. The first key point I will recommend when starting your journaling journey is to identify 3 things you love about yourself. Now, I know it seems weird, right? But when you really sit down to think about 3 things you love about yourself, it not only makes you critically think about yourself, it also puts you in a state of gratitude. It makes you grateful for the things that you do love about yourself and the things you feel you're really great at, which makes you feel confident and great as a person. It also helps you rewire your self-perception. You might be thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, this, that, and that. But when you actually sit down and ask yourself, what 3 things do I love about myself? It helps you rewire your orientation about yourself and makes you actually sit down and throw more light on great things about yourself that you might never had considered before now. So when you're starting your journaling journey, the first key point I want you to note is start by asking yourself, what 3 things do you love about yourself, and write that down, so that anytime you feel down or you feel low, when you read what you have written down about yourself, it will jack up energy and jack up your self-perception, thereby making you more energized and happy. The second key point to note when starting your journaling journey is to ask yourself, what do I forgive myself for? Trust me, we are our own personal critic, and we've done a lot of things in our life that we actually regret, especially in our younger or past self when we had little information or didn't know much about ourselves. Trust me, we all have done things in the past that we hate ourselves for or we regret doing. But this doesn't mean you need to hold yourself up on that forever. You need to let go and forgive yourself. So today, ask yourself, what have you done in the past that you need to forgive yourself for? Because you can't keep on holding yourself hostage to the mistakes you made in the past. This will not help your self-perception. To be able to get better and become better, you need to forgive yourself for something you think you did in the past that you regret. And to do this, you need to journal that. This will help you in ways that you can never imagine, because sometimes when we fail at something, our self-critic takes us back to those things we haven't really forgiven ourselves for, or just reminds us of things we've done in the past that looks like failure, and it might hold us captive. But when you've written something like this down about how you've forgiven yourself, it helps you remind yourself that you've actually forgiven yourself, and this is what you've forgiven yourself for and how you've done that. Ask yourself, what mistakes have you done in the past and how have you forgiven yourself for it? And what exactly are you forgiving yourself for doing? The third key point I want you to note when starting your journaling journey is to ask yourself, what compliment would you give your best friend? And that best friend is you. So what compliment would you give yourself? Obviously, there are things people compliment us for, but truly and truly, you know there are some things you would actually compliment yourself for. So take a step back and ask yourself, if I were my best friend to myself, what compliment would I give me? For instance, I would tell me, I love the way you dress because it makes you unique and stand out. What compliment would you give yourself if you were your best friend? Because truly, we are our best friends. Trust me, in this entire lifetime, you will spend more time with yourself than anybody else. So you better start acting like your best friend before it's too late. Ask yourself today, what compliment would you give your best friend? And then give it to yourself. And by doing that, write it down so that you never forget, so that in times when you feel down, you look back at your journal and realize the compliment you gave yourself and you boost yourself back up. In the journey to self-love, you should never be found beating yourself down. By writing down the compliment you will give your best friend, and that is you will help yourself never feel down again. The fourth key point to note in your journaling journey is to ask yourself what makes you feel alive, because truly your joy is your compass. There are so many things we get to do in our lifetime, but you need to ask yourself, what is that one thing you do that makes you feel alive, that makes you come alive, that rises up your spirit that no one can bring down? For me, for instance, it's fashion styling. When I'm styling clothes, nothing can bring me down, because it just makes me get into a zone where I feel like I'm in my own little world and I am a master of it and I can control things the way I choose, and this makes me come alive. What is that thing for you? It could be going to exercise, it could be playing a new instrument, it could be singing, it could be trying out new things, but you need to ask yourself, what is that one thing that when you do it makes you feel alive? Because in there is your joy, and the joy in your life is your compass. And when you feel like your joy is in tune with your body, it makes everything come together, and self-love exudes from such environment. But when you don't have joy, it's hard to love yourself. Thus, I want you to take notes and ask yourself, what is that one thing that makes you come alive? And jot this down so that anytime you feel down or you feel like you're not your best self, you can look through your journal and do such activity or do that one thing and make yourself feel alive again. The fifth and the last point to note when journaling yourself to self-love is to ask yourself, what is one way I can show myself love today? Now, there will always be bad and good days, but even in our bad days, we need to ensure that we do things that make ourselves feel loved. If you're going through a bad day or a hard time, what is that one thing that you can do for yourself to show yourself that no matter the season you are right now, you still love you? For instance, when I'm going through a bad day, to show Imelda that I still love her is to ensure that I have a good sleep. To be honest, sleep helps me erode most of my problems, because sleep helps me calm my nerves, especially my overthinking mind and my anxious mind, thereby making me feel like everything will be alright. And this is one way I use to show myself that everything will be fine and I love myself. So what is that one thing for you that you do even in your worst days to show yourself that you love yourself? Because trust me, action speaks louder than words, and your body is watching your actions. If your actions tell your body the opposite of self-love, trust me, your body would respond in ways that would take you further away from self-love. You need to put in actions to show yourself and your body that you actually truly love you, it's not just about saying it in words to the mirror. You need to put up actions that back up those words. You tell yourself you're beautiful, but when you do something and you get it wrong the first time, you're calling yourself horrible names. That does not add up. Your actions need to back it up. Even on days where you mess up, you need to still tell yourself you're good enough, but you will get better. Don't beat yourself up. Don't insult yourself. Don't pull your own self down, because trust me, we are our own biggest enemies. So rather than just focusing on self-affirmations through words, you need to affirm yourself through actions. And how do you do that? In your worst days, ask yourself, in what way can you show yourself that you love yourself today, and do such actions to back up your words, because trust me, words without actions is useless. So in your worst days, make efforts to show actionable ways in which you love yourself, and also journal this down. I'll close by saying your thoughts shapes your world. So start by writing a story where you love yourself more. What do you think about this? In what ways would you start journaling in a way to show that you love yourself more? And what points have I raised that you would add to your journaling entry today? Tell me all of this in the comment section and let's have a conversation. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give the thumbs up, and if you've not subscribed, please subscribe and join the family today. Till then, I'm your girl, literally Imelda. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for my next video. Bye bye.